Hey, it's Tay with Mom on the Spectrum, and today I'm joined by my special guest, Beltray the cat. Beltray, you can't do that while I'm filming. Clean somewhere else, like not your... We think today is a great day to talk about spoon theory. Are you done? I decided to wear my NSYNC Christmas sweatshirt before Thanksgiving because life is too short. Also, if you're new to this channel, if you could subscribe and like this video, that helps me out a ton and helps my videos show up for more people like you and me. Also, check out the community tab on my YouTube channel to join more of the discussions that we have during the week. So what is spoon theory? Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Maybe you call yourself a spoonie, and we'll talk about what that means in a second. I feel that spoon theory is an incredible way to talk about what it's like to live with an invisible illness, disability, or different ability. The term spoon theory was originally coined in 2003 by Christine Miserandino. She wrote an essay called The Spoon Theory, which is on her website, butyoudon'tlooksick.com. I'll put a link to that in the description. She was having dinner with her friend one evening, and her friend wanted to try and understand more of what it was like for her to live with lupus. And Christine was looking for a way to show that with the tools that she had at hand, and just grabbed a spoon off the table and started explaining. So what is spoon theory? How does it work? Spoons represent energy that we have to carry out tasks during the day. There are no set numbers of spoons. We don't know that an autistic person has a certain number of spoons and a non-autistic person has a certain number of spoons. You might also hear me use the term autistic, which means not autistic. So we don't know a particular number of spoons that we start the day with, okay? This is all kind of a way for you to visualize the energy that you have for a particular day, and nobody can tell you how many spoons you do or don't have. Let's say that an autistic person starts the day with 20 spoons. They can use those 20 spoons to do anything that comes up during the day. Get out of bed, brush their teeth, make breakfast, go to work, pick the kids up from school. An autistic person might start the day with 12 spoons. So already they're operating on a deficit because they don't have quite as much energy to expend during the day. Hello, welcome back. Different people will feel like it costs them a different amount of spoons for different activities. So let me explain. So for me, brushing my teeth, for some reason that always exhausts me. So for me, that's gonna cost a whole spoon. That takes a lot of energy out of me. But for an autistic person, that might not cost a spoon at all. That might not cost them any mental or physical energy. Like, it's a blip on their radar. They can brush their teeth no problem. It's not taxing at all. So if you're like me, I know many autistic people who feel like just getting ready in the morning is a huge energy sucker. So by the time we get out of bed, brush our teeth, wash our face, make something for breakfast, get dressed, we might have already used 5 spoons up for the day. I mean, it's like a really big energy commitment and cost for a lot of people on the spectrum. Whereas an autistic person, it might only cost them 1.5 spoons to do their whole morning routine. There might be something totally random that costs you spoons that costs nobody else spoons. Maybe saying hi to the person at the crosswalk that helps your kid get safely across to school every morning. Maybe saying hi is exhausting to you and that takes a spoon. But for other people, that wouldn't cost anything. One thing I really love about the spoon theory is that you get to determine how many spoons each activity costs you, and nobody else can be like, no, are you sure about that? Let's say you're getting to the end of the day and you've only got 3 spoons left, but you know you've got to bathe the kids, you know you've got to make dinner, and you know you've got to go through your bedtime routine. Something's going to have to give because that probably costs more than 3 spoons to do all of that. So you might pick something up for dinner on the way home and tell the kids they don't have to take a bath tonight. It's really important to end the day without having completely depleted your spoon stash. So if you can end the day with a spoon or a spoon and a half, it usually makes for an easier night of sleep and an easier transition into the following day. There's no way to prove that. I just know for myself and from learning from other people on the spectrum and other people with invisible challenges that whenever you can end the day with something in your tank, it really helps you start the next day well, or at least better. On that same note, it has been said that you can borrow spoons from tomorrow's stash, but I think that's dangerous business. So let's say something comes up and your kids are asking for a play date after school and you really don't have the energy to do it. You could borrow from tomorrow's spoons. Maybe it's available to you to drop the kids off for school the next morning and then come home and rest to help you recover that lost energy. So you might think, okay, I'm gonna kind of borrow from tomorrow so that I can help my kids be able to do this thing that they want to do now. It's not necessarily that this is a bad decision, it's just helpful to be mindful of this decision and know, right now I don't have any spoons, or I'm running low on spoons, so I'm going to have to do something to make up for that deficit. Which brings me to the idea that you can replenish your spoons. So you might be running really low on your spoons in the afternoon. You need to find some way to get more spoons in order to do what you have to do that day. You can replenish those spoons by doing whatever it is that helps you recharge. That might be taking a bath, that might be going for a walk, that might be taking a nap, that might be eating a little bit bigger meal so you have more on your stomach. Only you are going to know what replenishes your spoon stash, but it's important that you keep tabs on how many spoons you have left. And again, this isn't concrete, so as you practice using the spoon theory in your own life, you'll kind of figure out what it looks like, what it feels like when you don't have very many spoons left, and you'll figure out how it feels to regenerate more spoon energy. You'll figure out what kind of activities help you do that. This is also super helpful for parents. If you have kids with special needs, spoon theory can be extremely helpful. So if they come home from school, my kids, they work so hard to stay focused and engaged at school. I'm pretty sure they use most of their spoons at school. So it's helpful for me to understand that when they get home, they're not going to have a whole lot of spoons left to give, and it's important that I help them manage that energy. One thing that's also worth mentioning is that executive functioning, I believe, goes hand in hand with the spoon theory. Because executive functioning skills like planning ahead, organizing, keeping track of what you need to do, all of those things require executive functioning, and those can become really, really challenging and draining. You might even find that as the day goes on, you start losing spoons more frequently. So as you become lower on spoons, things cost you more because you're operating with a lower amount of energy. So something like picking the kids up from school might not normally cost you 2 spoons, but today it's going to cost you 2 spoons because you're just in a different headspace today than you were yesterday. So I think understanding that executive function can be impacted by the energy that we have on reserve, that can be really helpful not only for you, but also for your children and the rest of your family if they have special needs or invisible challenges. It might be important to give your child unstructured time when they get home. You might let them go run around outside. You might let them zone out on video games for a little bit just to kind of do whatever it is that their brain wants to do so that they have something left in order to do homework later. But just know they might need to replenish their spoon count before they do that homework because they don't have enough spoons to fuel the tasks related to executive function that they need to accomplish in order to get their homework done. Now, all that being said, I felt like it might be important to mention in this video the topic of autism as a disability. This is going to vary widely from person to person, and I believe that every person on the spectrum has a right to their own thoughts on whether or not autism is a disability or a different ability. There's different types of disabilities. There's medical disabilities, social disability. Different people are going to have different ideas about where autism falls in relation to all of those terms. I feel like saying that recently, autism has really felt like a disability to me. I do think there's many facets of it that make me unique, interesting, great skills that I feel like improve my life. But there are many times when it just feels really, really hard. It feels like it's stacked up against me, like I can't win. And so I wanted to share that today because I think it's important to find positive traits about our neurotype, and I think they're definitely there, but I also think it's important to allow space to talk about those challenges and to talk about how it affects our life negatively and to be okay with how other people view that for themselves. If somebody sees it as a disability and that helps them understand themselves better and get the help that they need, I think that's wonderful. If somebody sees it as a different ability or a social disability or doesn't even like to talk about how it relates to them in terms of an ability or disability, I think that being respectful of how we all approach this is very important. We're all figuring it out. We all have different knowledge and wisdom that we can bring to the table. I think hearing out where other people fall on this issue can be really important to helping us all gain a more accurate understanding and reflection of how autism truly presents and affects the people who are of that neurotype. I'm just sitting here like holding spoons the whole time. I guess this is my fidget toy today. I really like these spoons. They're from Target and my kids use them and I love how colorful they are. He's sitting just out of frame today. I'm so sorry. So the main reason this theory was created in the first place was to help the loved ones of people with invisible challenges and disabilities to better understand those challenges. So if there's someone in your life that you hope could understand you better, this video might be a great thing to show to them to help them understand more of what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. It might be a great way to open the conversation and allow you to speak more of your mind when it comes to living with the challenges that you face. If you're a loved one of someone with an invisible challenge or disability, you might be able to ask them things like, how many spoons do you feel like you're working with today? Is there anything I can do to help you protect or replenish your spoons? It might sound silly, but as long as you're having an open conversation with the person that you care about and making sure that they're comfortable with the terminology and language you're using, I think in many instances this can be a very helpful conversation to have and can help the other person feel seen, respected, validated. So consider using these terms, asking these types of questions to help people in your lives living with these types of challenges get more of the help and support that they need. Another interesting thing to note is that a term has been created called spoonie, and some people use that term spoonie to refer to being disabled, differently abled, and it's almost kind of like a secret language. Instead of saying I'm disabled, differently abled, you can say I'm a spoonie. So you might see that hashtag going around. You could search by that hashtag to find more information on this topic. But I'm proud to be a spoonie, and I'm proud to be in this community of spoonies. Hashtag spoonie community. Also, in the process of researching and studying for this video, I found another YouTube channel that's amazing. I'm going to put a link in the description. I believe her name is Jessica. She is differently abled. She's funny, she's charming. She has a video on spoon theory. She uses sim characters on either side of the screen. One is a person with invisible disability, and the other person is more or less neurotypical, for lack of better words. And she models the spoon theory for each person, and it's really interesting. So in fact, I'll put that video at the end of this video, like when you see the different thumbnails. I'll put it somewhere over here so you can click on it, check it out, support her channel. I love that this community supports others with different abilities. I think it's really cool to watch that and see how we show up for each other. Speaking of that, if you haven't seen my last video, I made a video about a really cool online community for people on the spectrum called ASDirect. It's a group on Discord, and if you're interested in joining, it's totally free, and it's the largest autistic community on Discord at the moment. It's run by some really talented people who work really hard to keep it a safe and kind community. So if you're interested in that, check out my last video. I'll also put a link to that community in the description here, so check out the resources section in this video. Thank you so much to those of you who are supporting the channel by subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. All of those things are amazing. If you've been impacted by the channel and would like to support it financially, you can name your own price for my Meltdown Survival Guide to help you navigate meltdowns. Link in the description. And I've also got a couple of other ways that you can support the channel in the description below. As always, leave me a comment letting me know your experience with spoon theory. Is this new to you? Have you used it before? Is it helpful? What am I missing? Let me hear all of it. You know I love hearing from you. Thank you all so much for your support. I love doing what I do. I love getting to interact with y'all and learn about you and your stories. You're not alone. Your brain is unique. It's a beautiful gift, and we're gonna learn how to love it together. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.